Hi, my name's Dr. Catherine Hughes from Crime Psych. I'm a criminal psychologist and I run a business that enables me to bring knowledge and learning to everybody, not just those who are at college or university or schools. And I do this by providing a range of blogs, vlogs and free online courses. But I also run slightly more in-depth courses which are run both online and face-to-face. You don't need any previous experience to learn with me, and there are several different types of courses available. Have a look at my website, they're all detailed on there. In this particular video, I'm going to be talking about social learning theory. Last week, I talked about operant conditioning and how we learn through positive and negative reinforcements. As with many other areas within psychology, psychologists build upon other people's ideas and other people's work over time and suggest improvements and advancements. Some psychologists will completely agree with others and build upon their ideas, and others will completely disagree and suggest a vastly different type of process. We know that we can learn in various ways, but we don't learn by the reinforcement of behaviour alone. A psychologist called Bandura agrees with the behaviourist learning theories, of which operant conditioning is. The reason I'm talking about another learning theory today is because criminals also learn how to offend. They may imitate criminal behaviours from people who they see around them. Investigative psychologists normally take well-known and well-established principles from within all areas of psychology and they apply them to crime and criminal activity. If you missed the last video on operant conditioning, I will leave a link to that video in the description below. In social learning theory, Bandura agrees that we learn through classical and operant conditioning. However, he adds that there's a mediating process which occurs between the stimulus and the response. Secondly, he proposes that behaviour is learned through observing other people. This was best demonstrated in his famous experiments using the Bobo doll in 1961. This study was based on aggression. Adults verbally or physically assaulted an inflatable doll in front of preschool-aged children. The children later mimicked the behaviour of the adults towards the inflatable doll. As well as the aggressive behaviour, there was a control group who observed caring behaviour being displayed by the adults towards the Bobo doll, and they also later copied them in the same way. And this series of experiments showed that children learn from the people around them by watching them. They learn from teachers, from siblings, parents, TV characters, pop stars, and so on. These people provide examples of behaviour that we observe and then imitate. The children pay attention to those around them and they later copy what they've seen. And children do this to all types of behaviours, regardless of whether they're gender appropriate. However, certain factors make it more likely that behaviour will be copied later on. For example, if a young girl was watching a group of girls play fighting and a group of boys having a tea party, the little girl is more likely to copy the girls as she shares a similarity with them. The second process that makes it more likely that a child will repeat a behaviour that it has observed is whether the behaviours that they're watching are rewarded or punished. If that same group of girls that I've just mentioned were chastised for play fighting, then the little girl is less likely to copy that behaviour. If the boys were rewarded for having a tea party, then that group of boys are more likely to do it again. Each time the behaviour is rewarded, the behaviours are reinforced. Children watch others to see what happens after they've completed a behaviour, to see what happens next before they decide to copy them. For example, if a child watches another child put toys away and is rewarded for that, then the second child will copy and also put toys away. And this is known as vicarious reinforcement or vicarious learning. Children will have several people that they watch and copy, And this may be their family or their friends. However, it can also be fantasy characters or people in the media. The motivation to identify with a particular person could be because they have a property that person wishes that they had. Unlike Skinner, Bandura believes that humans are active information processors and think about the relationship between their behaviour and its consequences. Bandura suggests that people don't learn simply through observation, but they think about the behaviour before they go on to imitate it. He proposes that observational learning cannot occur without this cognitive process. There are four main factors that mediate the relationship between observation and learning. You can learn more about these by reading the blog post that I will also put a link to in the video description. So in summary then, we do learn through watching other people, and we have an active cognitive process within this. We're more likely to copy behaviour that's performed by people we see as similar to us in some way or have a property that we desire. We think about the costs and benefits of imitating behaviours. We don't simply blindly copy others. Therefore, if a person has criminal friends or criminal family members, it's much more likely that they'll imitate that behaviour. We're going to move on now, and I will describe a study that you can do at home to test out this theory. The experiment works best with preschool age children. If you don't have children of your own of that age, you could try it on an adult, but it takes longer for them to pick up the new behaviours. If you're going to use somebody else's children, please get consent first. You're going to be doing a slight variation of the Bobo doll experiment. Have two teddy bears or two dolls and play with them in front of the child. Treat one bear or doll really nicely. Say nice things to it. Be really gentle with it. And treat the other teddy or doll aggressively. Tell the toy that it's not a nice teddy, not a nice doll, and it's very naughty. Make it sit facing a wall and talk to it aggressively. After a short period of time, the child will begin to copy you, and they'll treat one of the toys really nicely and they'll treat the other toy quite aggressively. If you do have any questions about this, you can always leave me a comment or send me a message via social media or send me an email. Have fun with this experiment. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Take care. Bye for now.